developed speakers that we have here in this club. So one of the first speakers that we have coming up is Barbara Morris. Barbara Morris, she is title of her. I'm sorry, correction. Real quick. Um, the timing for her speech for Barbara Morris is going to be 5 to 7 minutes. And the title is Rosy the Riveter. And this is from the Manual of Storytelling. So this is Barbara Morris, everybody. Please clap your hands for Barbara Morris. And she's also going to be sharing her screen as well, which is it's available, Barbara. So you just got to click on the share screen at the bottom on your screen, and you should be good to go. No issues.
Barbara, would you like for me to give you the timing requirements before you start? Or are you good? Barbara, you want to turn on your...
Unmute.
Barbara, do you want to unmute? You're still muted.
Yes, yes, please.
The timing for a 5 to 7 minute speech is the green light will turn on at 5 minutes, the yellow light at 6, well actually, and the red light at 7. Those are all cards, not lights. You have 30 seconds to wrap it up at the end. Good luck.
Thank you. Let's share the screen. Can everyone see the screen? Fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Barbara, did you click on the share screen on Zoom?
I think I did. I thought I did. Hold on.
There you go.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Morning.
All day long, whether rain or shine, she's a part of the assembly line. She's making history, working for victory. Rosy, the Riveter, keeps a sharp lookout for sabotage, sitting up there on the fuselage. That little frail can do more than a male can do. Rosy, the Riveter. That was a song that was introduced to America in World War II. Who was Rosy? She was a valiant contributor to the war effort in World War II. Well, you see, the men were at war, and to help in the production of planes and all the equipment associated with World War II, the United States called on the women to contribute to the war effort. Rosy is a composite of a lot of women who contributed to the war every day. They wore pants, they acted feminine, but yet their contribution was endearing. And one of the things about Rosy was that she represented the best of the United States at that time. Her contributions were endless. And also it was a precursor to women having jobs that weren't the traditional jobs, going to work in a factory, or actually working in a field that women were not traditionally accustomed to working. And the one thing about Rosy is that they were many people who thought women's place was in the home. And as a result of that, I think the contribution that Rosy the Riveter had to the United States was, in fact, her ability to show that she can contribute in her small way to the war effort. As you see on the screen, there are two pictures here. And I ask you, when you look at the one on the left, do you think that that's a picture that Norman Rockwell presented in the 1940s that is not a traditional portrait, a poster of what women look like. Norman Rockwell gave such serene and calm covers to the magazines to which he contributed. But this particular magazine does not reflect that. Look at her hand, she's got a sandwich. Look on her lap, she's got the Riveter. And in one picture, there's one where she's holding Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf, you say? Yes, and it's really at the antithesis of a normal Norman Rockwell cover story. But yet somehow and look at her chest. She has all these buttons that commemorate her contribution. The one on the left, if you juxtapose it to the one on the right, is totally different. The one on the right evokes strength, the power, we can do it. We can do it. And that represents the best of America. That represents the contributions of women in general to the war effort. And I think that they both send a message about where we were in the 40s at that time in the war. And the one on the left, the person who wrote, the one who did the one on the right was a guy, his name was, oh gosh, I forgot the name of it. There's a gentleman who created this particular one that was a softer, kinder, motivating way for us to continue the war effort and to feel strong about our country and where we were at that particular time in the war. And the juxtaposition of both of these pictures represent America, but I think they evoke something different than perhaps we normally think about the war. During the 1980s, the one on the right took hold because when the war was going on, no one cared about Rosy the Riveter. But it was after the war that people realized her contribution to the war, realized the contribution to help motivate us, to help us work hard, to give people a sense of we can do this, we can win the war, and to help us go strong and continue in that effort. The one on the left surprised me because I don't think that it would represent the best of the person who did it, Norman Rockwell. But yet, there we are. And how that affects us today is we can do stuff. For example, if you take what's going on in the virus that's going on in this country, I think we need a symbol, an icon, a representative of what's going on today to help us get through this virus. There is something to be said about icons, symbols that represent us, that represent what we can do, but also what we will do in this country.